So what do you think he'll do, V.B.?
No idea.
Might have been easier if they'd released you months ago, as soon as the war was over.
It might.
All those years. Such a waste.
They can't all have been waste, Edith. She must have something to show for it, eh?
Show for it. Red hands, swollen ankles.
To say nothing of the language she lets loose sometimes, ever since she went to France.
I'm sorry, Mother. That'll wear off in time.
Wow. Well, you'll have to make up your mind to do something with your life, dear. After all, you're still young.
I'm 24.
Well, I think you ought to take a year off, get out a bit, enjoy yourself.
Yes, now, why don't you?
Who with?
Yeah, well, of course there is that. But you'll just have to find some new friends, won't you? I'm sure there must be lots of young men who...
I know where they can be found, Mother. By the thousand. Out in France, pushing up daisies.
Don't remind me, Vera.
I'm sorry, Mother. Their phrase for it, not mine. Anyway, this whole discussion is irrelevant. I'm not interested, and it's too late. Don't you ever feel, I don't know, aimless, disorientated?
No. I just feel, thank God, that's over. An end of the slogging, an end of the stink. I never admitted to anyone how much I loathed the sheer stench of that hospital. First thing I bought when I got home was half a dozen tablets of fiendishly expensive soap. Verbena, lemon, sandalwood, pine. Bliss.
Yes, I still feel how nice it is to be clean. And warm. What are you going to do?
I don't know. That's what's so exciting. It's a whole clean new page with nothing written on it. I'll probably go to India.
A nurse?
Yes, I know. The work will be just as hard and the smell's not much better. But it'll be my own choice, you see? I'm not committed yet. Oh, don't you find that exciting? To think you can do anything you want.
I don't know what I want to do. That's the problem.
Well, there's no desperate hurry. Don't do anything for a while. Wait till the spirit moves you.
The only thing that moves me is blind rage.
About what?
People. Stupid people. The sort that come to you and say how uplifting it must have been to tend the wounded, and what a noble sacrifice it was to lose a lover and a brother for the sake of your country, and what a good thing the Huns are now paying for their wickedness by watching their children starve.
And what do you say?
Nothing. I don't. I get so angry I could shake myself to pieces. And apart from that, I don't feel anything at all. And yet I have to go through the motions of living. I suppose I ought to be grateful for being alive at all.
Oh, really, Britain? You can't go through the rest of your life apologizing for having survived. Well, I suppose the difference is that you lost people who were close to you, and I didn't.
The whole world seems different somehow. Everything I ever worked for, ever dreamed about, it's just vanished.
That's not true, for a start. You used to dream about Oxford, didn't you? Well, Oxford's still there.
And they'll take you?
Yes, next week.
Well, that's splendid news. Isn't it, Jackal girl?
Do you really think so, Father?
Of course, get some qualifications behind you. Then you don't need to worry whatever happens. You can always earn your own living.
I thought you said university women all turn into dry as dust old harridans.
Ah, yes, well, I mean... Well, considering some of the things you've done since then... Look at her, Edith. She's laughing at me.
I should think they'd be glad to see you after all this time. Will any of your friends be going back too?
Apparently not. Very few of them joined up anyway. Most of them will have got jobs by now, of course, or got married.
Well, you'll be quite a celebrity up there, then.
I don't know about that.
How do you do, Miss Britton?
Quite well, thank you, Miss Penrose. I'm glad to be back at last.
You're living in King Edward Street this term, I understand.
Yes, that's right.
And where were you originally?
Mickleham Hall.
I see. I think you might find it less easy to fit in there now. Difference of age and background. I understand you've applied to read a different subject.
Yes, that's right.
Why is that?
Because I was formerly reading English, and now I'd like to change to history.
Well, that's merely a restatement of your request. You're not giving me the reason for it.
It's not very easy to explain.
It requires an explanation, wouldn't you say? In English, you were regarded as being capable of obtaining a first-class degree, and you've put in a year's study. We know nothing of your aptitude for history.
Yes, I realize that.
You will be undertaking a 3-year course in 2 years, handicapping yourself unnecessarily.
Yes.
So,
Well, before the war, I believed that people could live their own individual lives and not be affected by things that were happening in other parts of society and other parts of the world. I now realize this was a mistaken idea. And I'd like to understand the events of the last 4 years and the reasons for them.
I see. And you feel a knowledge of the Tudors and Stuarts would help you in this?
No. I didn't realize at first what period the second year would be studying. But I'm hoping to fit in some lectures on modern European history and move on to that period next term.
Well, the modern period up to 1878.
Is that what's meant by the modern period?
That is what is meant at Oxford by the modern period. Events later than that are too recent for objective academic evaluation.
I see.
I have discussed this with your tutor. She informs me that one other girl has expressed an interest in the modern period. This would make it convenient for the two of you to share a weekly tutorial with the Dean of Harvard. In the circumstances, we are acceding to your request. Thank you, Miss Britton.
You seem to have a cold, Miss Britton.
Yes, I'm sorry.
You don't know anything about this other young lady who's supposed to turn up, Miss Holtby?
No, I don't.
Well, I suggest we give her another 5 minutes. And then, if necessary, start without her.
Yes.
Come. Ah, Miss Holtby.
Yes, that's right. Well, I'm so sorry I'm late, but a woman had got herself knocked down by a bike and nobody seemed to be doing anything about her. Anyway, I do apologize.
Yes, well, do sit down now that you have arrived. And I think I'd better plunge directly in medias res. I asked each of you, if you remember, to submit a preliminary essay on the causes of the French Revolution so that I could assess your capabilities. Miss Britton, quite a good effort. Indeed, quite promising.
Thank you.
You attribute too much weight to the personalities of the protagonists and not enough to the underlying social and economic tensions. Otherwise, quite good. Miss Holtby.
Yes.
Did you receive a list of books I made up as indispensable introductions to this course of study?
Thank you very much. Yes, I did. I haven't had time to read them yet, but I'll start today.
I strongly advise you to do so. I find your comments here very confused. Do try to avoid long, involved sentences. They make your style very laborious to read.
Oh, do they? Well, I really will do my best to correct that.
Quite so, Miss Holby. I don't know what to say about your spelling. It's abominable.
No, it's dreadful. Everyone tells me.
You should keep a dictionary at your elbow and look up every word you're unsure about.
But I don't feel unsure about any of them. That's the trouble. They all look absolutely right to me. Oh, good. I wondered if I got the right place.
I suppose so.
Oh, it's not as nice as living in Hall, is it?
At least you can have some privacy here. What can I do for you?
I've been roped in as sec of this new debating society, and I wondered whether you would consider proposing the motion for next Friday's debate.
The motion being?
That 4 years' travel are a better education than 4 years at a university.
I see.
Well, they had something on the same lines in the Union, and it went down very well. Of course, in the men's colleges, feelings run pretty high about it. All the young ones straight up from school versus all the returning war heroes.
Here at Somerville, returning war heroes are in very short supply.
Oh, that's right.
Which I suppose is why you're asking me for demur.
No, I'm asking you because I know you feel strongly about it.
How do you know how I feel?
Well, other people have certainly got that impression, that you think they're too trivial and flippant and only interested in enjoying themselves. And I know you could speak about your war experiences because I've heard you mention them.
Not recently, you haven't. People are thoroughly bored with the war and everything to do with it, so I've learned to keep my mouth shut.
Open it, just this once, won't you?
When did you say?
Friday?
All right.
Good.
Order. Order. Everyone will get a chance to express their views in due course. That's better.
On the other hand, what kind of education is offered to those who are content to spend their lives shut up in these academic ivory towers? An education for the intellect only, not for the heart. It is a world where, in the name of literature, we are urged to sit in judgment on minds far greater than ours, yet never encouraged to create anything new of our own. It is a world where, in the name of history, we are taught to pick over the bones of the dead conflicts of past centuries, never how to treat the issues of our own times, when human fears and passions are still involved and the light of reason sorely needed. It is a world tightly guarded against any new idea that hasn't waited for 50 years in some academic anteroom until it is sufficiently moribund to be allowed inside, where every scrap of bigoted prejudice and jingoistic complacency we bring with us is reinforced 100-fold. I will readily concede that the other road to enlightenment, sometimes referred to as the school of experience, has its disadvantages. When it confronts you with facts you would prefer to ignore, you cannot skip the next 50 pages or put the book back on the shelf. The facts have to be faced and lived through, and your mind must find room to accommodate them. But at least by this route, the truth comes to you intact and at first hand, not filtered and edited and tidied up, gutted by censorship, distorted by lying propaganda. Oh yes! Do you imagine for one moment that our mentors would be praising the masters of our government and the genius of our generals if they had been out there witnessing thousands of lives being senselessly sacrificed by their pig-headedness and incompetence?
Order. Order.
You don't want to know, you don't want to know. Just put it all out of your minds. Eat, drink, and be merry.
Not because tomorrow you may die. Because the dying was done for you. Yesterday. By people it would be tactless to mention, because they're dead and buried. And forgotten. And it would only spoil the party. Give it 50 years to mature into history. Then it will be ripe for Oxford to open it up, blow the dust away, and wonder what went wrong. If Oxford is still here, that is.
But anyone who supports this proposition is failing to distinguish between education and mere locomotion. Well, it is a popular fallacy. It was invented in the days of the Grand Tour by a pampered minority who had nothing better to do with their lives than try to escape their own boredom by trailing it around the continent with them. And then they returned with an air of ineffable superiority, as if by allowing themselves and their luggage to be transported round the capitals of Europe, they had absorbed by a kind of osmosis all the poetry of Homer and Virgil and Goethe and Verlaine, and the insights of Plato and Lucretius and Galileo and Voltaire and Hegel. And naturally understood them much better than the wretched scholars who'd merely stayed at home and studied the works of these great men. In our day, this affectation takes a subtler form. Well, the stay-at-homes are no longer taunted because they have been deprived of experiencing beauty and luxury and grandeur. Instead, they are scorned for not having experienced squalor, ugliness, and perilous adventures. But the fact is that for most people here today, because they happen to be born too late, these were simply not available. And no one has the right to say who would or who would not have responded to the call if it had come at the right time for them. We have now been reminded of the war and the sacrifices that were made. But, Madam President, I venture to assert that these sacrifices were not made that England should never smile again, that never again should youth go hand in hand with joy and laughter. Well, whoever bears the guilt of those dark years, it cannot be those who were children at the time. The men who died were fighting that their country might be a freer, a wiser, and a happier place. Well, we must use that freedom. We must study hard and gain that wisdom. But note this also. If we are ashamed or afraid of the happiness, then their sacrifice will have been in vain. I will end with a quotation from As You Like It, which expresses my views in a nutshell. I had rather have a fool to make me merry than experience to make me sad, and to travel for it, too.
The proposer of the motion, apart from having a relish for dwelling on blood and gore that would not have disgraced Madame Defarge, seems, unless I have misunderstood her, to have conceived a kind of prejudice against books. Well, I know we have it on good authority that there are sermons in stones and books in the running brooks. Indeed, the opening speech this evening not only sounded like a sermon, and a very stony one into the bargain, but like Tennyson's brook, it seemed to go on forever. However, it does seem a little odd that anyone who has deserted Oxford in favour of the University of Life, and still clearly has such a low opinion of the place, should ever have deigned to come back at all.
Those in favour of the motion? Those against? I declare the motion has been defeated.
Come in. It's you. You sent me this letter. Well, you did say you wanted to see me.
I asked for an appointment. I meant your room in Somerville.
Oh, I see. I just thought if you wanted to talk, it would be better somewhere quiet. My room gets a bit like Piccadilly Circus.
How nice for you.
If you prefer to come to
No,
Somerville.
let's settle it now. I merely wanted to ask you why you thought it necessary to go to all those lengths to humiliate me.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean.
I mean that so-called debate. When I was deliberately set up to be pilloried and ridiculed publicly, tell me, was it your own idea?
It was nothing like that at all. I just wanted something controversial. It had gone down well in some other colleges and...
If you mean men's colleges, the position there is entirely different. There've plenty of people who've come back with medals and stripes to show for it. It's hardly the same thing as a whole meeting jeering at one solitary lad.
But they meant no harm.
Oh!
Well, it was just intended as a light-hearted sort of display.
Light-hearted? Oh, I see. Oh, forgive me. You see, it didn't only take 4 years of my life. It took the man I was engaged to. And then 2 more of the people I cared about most in the world. Then it took my brother. The only person left I could still talk to and know he'd always understand. I was out there through the worst of it. And I still get nightmares and wake up trembling and crying until for nights on end I'm afraid to go to sleep at all. So you see, maybe that's why I'm a bit slow to see the funny side of it. I hadn't realized that agony and mutilation, death and bereavement have become things to make jokes about.
I really am deeply sorry. I'll tell the President she'll send you a written apology.
Well, it's a bit late for that now. But if your members are going to use these debates to make personal attacks on people, I think you'd better disband the society before it does any more harm.
But that's what I was trying to do. I've been slogging at it all week.
I'm not questioning your diligence, Miss Holtby. You've definitely made some improvements since last term. You've a better grasp of your material, you have a few ideas, but it's shapeless. You get bogged down in subordinate clauses. Try and learn something from Miss Britton's approach. I know it's occasionally too journalistic, but it is at least clear, don't you see? Vivid, crisp, orderly.
I know. Oh, well, thank you for going on at me. I'm sure you're right. I'll just have to keep beavering away.
Why isn't she here today? Is she not well?
I don't know. Sorry. I never see her between tutorials.
Where is it? What's that?
It's an olive branch. Am I allowed to come in?
Can't very well stop you, can I?
Well, you can easily. If you say buzz off, I'll just dump these on the table and buzz.
What are these?
From the Dean, your essay with the usual commendations. These from me. I'm afraid I couldn't think of anything original. And I found this letter on the mat.
Thank you.
Can I do anything?
No, thank you. It's only a chill.
What, hot lemon drink?
There aren't any lemons.
Aha. Shopping, then. Honey, lemons, cinnamon, aspirins. How are you off for food?
I'm not hungry.
I wonder. Have you got a thermometer?
I've taken it. It's 101.
shivering and off your food. If this wasn't Oxford, I'd say a touch of the old PUO.
What do you know about PUO?
Well, I did do a year in France, you know.
You did? You're a vad?
Good heavens, no. Nothing so genteel. I was in the wax, but I had done a year's nursing in Civvy Street, so I did work with vads for a while.
Why did you never tell me?
Tell you? Well, it wasn't exactly a secret. Most people knew.
But they definitely told me I was the only one to come back to Somerville.
I expect you were when you arrived. I was a bit later getting home. Well, don't you remember? I hadn't even read the books.
The Dean thought he hadn't bothered. Why did you never tell him?
I don't know. Put me off. There was something about him that reminded me of my old colonel in the army. All the colonels hated wax. We weren't supposed to be ladies. Oh, at least let me make up the fire. It's nearly gone out, shall I?
If you like. I don't know why you're bothering to do all this for me.
Oh, don't worry. I carry on like this with everybody.
Why?
Why? Oh, I don't know. It's kind of superstition, I think. You see, all my life I've been incredibly lucky. Lovely home, wonderful family, never short of anything, always been ridiculously healthy. Everything I've ever wanted has come so easily. Even in the war, the one man I prayed for every night came back alive. And I've done nothing to deserve it. So I tend to barge in on people, trying to work off the, well, not guilt exactly, sort of debt.
From what I've heard, most people barge in on you.
Well, yes, that happens too. I'm stopping you reading your letter. I'll shut up. Is it from somebody nice?
Beverly Nichols.
Beverly Nichols? That blonde boy showed off at the poetry reading. Looks about 15.
That's the one.
Good Lord.
He's one of the editors of Oxford Outlook. I sent them an article. He's accepting it by return of post.
Oh, but that's marvellous. Oh, now you won't be sorry I came. Or you wouldn't have had anyone to tell and you would have been bursting.
Well, it's only an undergraduate magazine.
Only? Oh, what better place to start if you want to be a writer? When I sent a piece in, I had to wait 6 weeks even for an answer. And they said no.
Is that what you want to be too?
Oh, Lord, yes. More than anything in the world. I've written 300 pages of a novel.
Really?
But the hell of it is that this is the one and only department where the luck of the Hopies lets me down. Well, sometimes after one of those tutorials, and he's told me what your stuff is like, and then he's told me what mine is like, I just go back to my room and howl. Oh, well, congratulations. I'm so glad for you.
Where were you stationed?
Varied. Camiers, Abbeville, Hutchinville.
I was at Etup.
Oh, quite close then.
You in a hurry?
No.
Just wondered if we might have a cup of coffee perhaps before you go.
Where do you keep the cups? How's your head?
Bit better.
Anyhow, it's all over.
I really made a mess of that third paper. That question about scrutage, I couldn't make head or tail of it. I didn't go to sleep till 5 o'clock this morning.
Well, it's hardly surprising. You'd only just got over the flu.
And in the Viva. I must have been looking a bit washed out. So while we were waiting, somebody offered me some brandy. I went sailing in,
feeling frightfully cheerful and full of sang-froid. But when I think about it, I honestly believed I was drunk. I don't know what they must have thought.
Well, it's too late to worry about it now, anyway.
Will it make any difference, do you think? Sorry, what? Well, you're not getting a first-class degree.
Oh, no. Bit of a blow at the time. You seem to have thought I stood a good chance, whereas with Winifred, they'd have been quite satisfied with a third. She only just missed her first two.
She doesn't strike one as being clever, does she? I mean, she's very pleasant and cheerful, but quite ordinary, really.
Ah, there's more in that young woman than meets the eye.
Yes, there is.
Oh, Vera, do you have to do that now? I mean, if you're really set on leaving home for good, you might at least talk to us while you are here.
What did you want to talk about?
Well, what are you going to live on for a start?
Well, the shares that Father gave me.
You can't live on those.
Of course not. But I shall be teaching 1/2 day a week at St. Monica's. I've got 2 pupils who want coaching 2 hours a week. I write articles and so on.
Supposing nobody buys them.
Well, I shall go on writing them till they do start buying them. Then I might do some lecturing.
Oh, would you get paid for that?
I don't know. I don't care. I shall go on doing it until I'm good enough to get paid. The only way to learn is to do it.
Oh, I should have thought after all those years you'd have finished learning.
I hope that day will never come.
You've got to be very careful about this sort of thing, Vera.
Oh, Mother, I promise we won't starve. Winifred and I have found a studio. It's very cheap. There's a gas stove. We can do our own cooking and cleaning.
Yes, but how long's that going to last? I thought you said that Winifred had a young man.
Well, he's gone to South America. Got engaged there.
I see. So all those years of learning and working and studying and getting a degree just ends up with you 2 women all alone, cooped up together in a garret. What was the point of it all?
The point is that it'll give us time to do the things we really want to do and work for the things we really believe in.
Such as?
Well, peace, for one thing. The League of Nations.
You think it's going to work, that league?
Of course. Didn't you read? Only last week, Serbia and Albania are on the very brink of war. If that had happened, goodness knows how many other countries would have been dragged in. The League was there, it stepped in and put an end to it. Don't you see, everything's changing. It'll be a better world, and we'll be helping to build it.
Well, I don't know. It seems an unnatural sort of life to me, especially for a woman.
Mother, let's call a spade a spade. I'm 26, and you want me to throw myself into one last desperate attempt to acquire a husband before it's too late.
I'm not desperate, dear. Sometimes you still look no more than 20.
Well, it's not going to happen. There are too many women of my age. Surplus, they call us, like army stores.
Good gracious.
I see the Times has suggested that all the unwanted old maids might be encouraged to emigrate.
Well, how do you encourage people to emigrate? Are they offering to pay the fares?
No. They're painting alluring pictures of parts of the British Empire where men are not so scarce.
Oh. But they do say that Canada's very nice.
Oh, hello, Mr. Britton.
Hello, Winifred. Oh, you're looking very domesticated.
Yes, it's going to be a sort of soup. Oh, will you join us?
No, thank you. I had an excellent lunch in my club. So, this is Bloomsbury, eh?
This is. Let me take your coat.
No, I'll hang on to it for a while, V, if you don't mind. That's the best you can do for a fire?
Yes, well, the trouble with this grate is it takes half a sack of coal in an afternoon. Tell me, did Mother send you?
No, it was more an idea. I've just been to see my tailor, and I thought I'd venture into the blue stocking belt, see how you're getting on. I expect I'll have to give a full report, though, later on. Studio, you call this?
Well, the landlady does. The last tenant was a painter.
Still, if it's what you really want.
Well, it'll look different when it's properly furnished.
You'll be able to tell all your friends you dropped in on a couple of bohemian girls.
And how's the work?
My short story's just been turned down again.
Oh.
So's my article on equal pay.
And how's the book getting on?
Nearly half finished, so's Winifred's.
Now, what's all the correspondence?
Election addresses.
Yes. Now, you're still back in the Lib Lab candidate, aren't you? Well, Harris, isn't it?
He's a very good candidate.
And what do your people say about it all? Don't they think it's a strange life for a young woman, getting into political dogfights, standing up on public platforms?
I'm afraid they wouldn't have a leg to stand on. Not since my mother's gone and got herself elected to the East Riding County Council.
Your mother?
That's right. The first woman ever to get onto it.
Well. It's a different world from the one I knew.
Oh, it'll be a better one.
Oh.
Truly it will. You should be very proud of Vera, Mr. Britton. She's giving her first lecture for the League of Nations Union on Tuesday.
Oh, where?
The Baptist Chapel at Watford.
It holds 2,000 people.
Good God. 2,000 people? Well, doesn't that worry you at all?
Terrifies me. I've been working on the speech all week. Already it's 2.5 hours long. It's not finished yet.
From that point, the concept of collective security was no longer a vague... can't read that.
Aspiration.
Oh, aspiration.
Cherished by a small band of idealists, but a solemn and binding commitment, embodied in Articles 10, 12 and 15 of the Treaty of Versailles and in the Covenant of the League of Nations, and based on 3 main principles. 1, self-determination. 2, territorial integrity. 3, collective security. Well, look then. To put it another way, countries could decide whether to rule themselves, yes? And if anyone attacked them, the other countries will get together and put a stop to it.
Yes, that's right.
It's the truth. About 10 of them, and not in the hall at all. It was in the vestry. She said, "We've a real treaty for you tonight, ladies. This young person's been sent all the way from headquarters to tell you about the League of Nations." Well,
Is it all right for a dolphin to eat flowers?
I shouldn't think they'd do him any harm.
I only put them down there while I polished the table. Come on.
I'll get him a lettuce when I go out. Quite opulent after selling 2 articles in 10 days. Not to mention the cheque for the lecture tour in Scotland.
That's wonderful, V. And I've sold 2 in 6 weeks. That's pretty good compared to last year. Oh, what impresses me, though, is the way you turn them out. It takes me at least 5 or 6 drafts before I get it right.
Well, I am older and I've had more experience.
Oh, it can't just be that. I think it's because you're a born writer.
Well, I certainly hope so. Because when I'm lying awake and having a bad night, I sometimes think that's the only thing that's worth anything about me.
Come now. I'll get it. Thank you. 2 for you and 2 for me.
Oh, no. Oh, that is. It's the manuscript come back. Oh. What an astonishing thing.
Who's it from?
It's been forwarded from Somerville. Listen, dear Miss Britton, I'm almost sure I saw you in the Radcliffe camera last Wednesday. You probably won't remember me, but I used to see you at Somerville debates. Won't you have tea with me one afternoon? Or come on the river? It's just scribbled on the back of a visiting card. Have you ever heard of him?
He must have seen us last week when we went up for the Gaudy.
What a cheek! Writing to someone like that he's never met. Ah. We regret we cannot recommend publication of your novel, The Dark Tide. However... Oh, well, they think I should go on writing. Thanks for nothing. They advised me to wait until I've settled down and had a little more experience of life before attempting another novel. Oh! That's 8 publishers now. I'm beginning to run out. Can't be that bad. Rose McCauley didn't think so. She ought to know. Poor thing, it's getting to look quite battered. What's the matter?
Vera, they've made me an offer for my novel.
Andy Wold?
Yes.
Who has?
Somebody called John Lane. It's only a small company.
Let me see. Very nice. Congratulations.
Are you off then?
Yes. I've got to pick up some leaflets. I mustn't be late.
Vera, you know this is the day I'm going up to Yorkshire.
I'd forgotten.
Well, I'll probably be gone by the time you come back.
Yes. I'll see you next week then.
Goodbye.
My dear Winifred, I know the reviews will be nice. It is a kind book as well as a clever one, and has always inspired me with a secret envy. You make me feel very humble, one who talks but never achieves, while you quietly achieve and don't talk. You will be quite famous by the time you're my age, and one rare thing will make your success the more distinguished, and that is that you cannot get any success as great as the success that you deserve.
Oh, you haven't been here all day, have you?
Yes, I have. Where have you been?
Having lunch with Lady Rhonda. And thereafter, being very sick.
She's charming.
Oh, absolutely. But she gave me lobster. And I felt that if I rejected her lobster, she'd have every right to reject my articles. As it is, she's taken 4 of them. And the first will appear in next week's Time and Time.
Good. Especially good with a new magazine. You could become a regular.
You haven't opened any of your letters.
No. Face it after yesterday's lot.
I see this is going to call for strong measures. Come on, sit up straight. Now, you want me to weed out the nasty ones?
No. We'll take half each.
Right, now, let's get organised. Paper knife, waste paper basket, and a spot of Dutch curry, Jane. Well, at least your book's been noticed. I didn't get a 10th of this when mine came out.
At least none of yours were anonymous or vicious.
Do you want the press cuttings, then?
Might as well, in at the deep end. Oh, really? Once upon a time, an Oxford don kissed a woman student, and Miss Vera Britton immediately sat down and wrote a book about it.
The man's a fool.
Oh. What?
Miss Davenport thinks that the gloomy bursar is a caricature of herself.
That's ridiculous. If she was anybody in real life, she was my Aunt Sarah. A somewhat lurid picture of Oxford life? I don't think it's lurid, do you?
Rubbish. He must have been raised on Ethel Emdell.
Oh. Oh, it gets better, though. She has the root of the matter in her. She knows how to communicate sympathy. She has spiritual understanding of character.
That's the best one yet.
Oh, listen to the Daily Herald. She tells her story with so much gusto, it's hard to leave it. He says it kept him up from 2 in the morning.
Oh, cheers, the Daily Herald.
Cheers.
Oh, I say, V,
Here is a landmark. An editor actually asking you to write an article.
He's done it again.
Who's done what again?
Remember that man who asked me to come with him to the river? He's read my book with the utmost pleasure.
What does he want you to do this time?
Nothing. Only to accept the enclosed.
Oh, may I see?
His first published work, apparently, which he says there is no necessity to acknowledge. What's it about?
Philosophy. Seems he's a lecturer.
Doesn't give up easily, does he?
Well, at least this approach is a little less brash than his last effort.
Let me see. Oh, he was at New College. That's where Edward would have been. Exhibitioner, too.
Will you answer him this time?
Oh, I think I must. Just a thank you note, don't you think? He writes rather well.
I wouldn't be surprised if he turned up here one of these days.
That's hardly likely.
It's more than likely. Well, I'm surprised it hasn't happened before this. I mean, not him necessarily, but somebody. Could hardly expect that this arrangement would go on forever.
I don't see why not.
It's not the way things work, that's all.
Things work the way we want them to work. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, the last 2 years have been the happiest in my whole life, and the most peaceful.
Mine too.
Well then, I've no intention of letting anybody break that up. So let's stop talking rot and get on with the job. Agreed? Here's to the future.
For the moment, my hand is set to the plough of the theory of politics. I do it chiefly because the war has left me with a feeling that nothing is more imperative than to clear up these conflicting political dogmata.
He's doing a year in an American university. Sounds quite a sensible sort of person.
That's damning with faint praise.
I can envisage somebody rather like Sidney Webb. You know, worthy, but prosaic.
Two things seem to me at the present time momentous and worthwhile. That for the equalization of the position of women, and that for economic security for the worker. Whoever puts his hand to the plough of the first will be told he is furthering immorality and the breakup of the family. Whoever puts his hand to the second will be told he's a Bolshevik. I should have come up the following year. I should like to die that way. For us who live on, there is the feeling of death. But for those, qui pro patria demicantes pulchre occubuerunt, do you know the New College inscription? The music of the paean is at one with and without break passes straight over into the requiem. I don't see that it matters whether it was Thermopylae or the Asiago Plateau.
If he's coming back to England, of course you must see him.
Yes, I mustn't I?
Well, you can't leave things the way they are. It's impossible. You haven't written anything for nearly 6 weeks, except letters.
I know. I don't know what to do.
My dear, it seems to me that the choice has been taken out of your hands.
But it's ridiculous. I mean, how can you fall in love with a man's mind? Until he sent that photograph, I didn't even know what he looked like.
Is he what you expected?
Oh, I didn't know what to expect. You talk as if something had been decided, but that's not true. I'm keeping a perfectly open mind. One thing that is clear to me, though, is that we have an awful lot in common.
Oh, you say he's a socialist. Oh, I thought you were sort of liberal.
Oh, Winifred, you know I've been moving further left all the time.
And you say he's a Catholic.
Do you know what it reminded me of, in a strange kind of way?
Roland?
It's a very odd coincidence, don't you think?
My dear, I don't think anything at all. I'm just admiring the perfect openness of your mind. When is he coming?
On Friday. He's got tickets for St. Jerome. Do you realize what day that will be?
No.
It'll be the anniversary of Edward's death.
Again the shadowed pool shall break in dimples round your feet. And when the thrush sings in your wood, unknowing you may meet another stranger, sweet. And if he is not quite so old as the boy you used to know, and less proud too, and worthier, you may not let him go. And daisies are truer than passion flowers. It will be better so.